What a strange day today. Weird situation. What's happening? We already talked a little bit about the situation in Ukraine. We have some friends in the Ukraine and just heard that they are doing well as far as we can say, but it's certainly not so easy, especially for Olga, I guess, because Elena, she has some relations to the Russian part, as I understand. But yeah, let's hope the best, and let's hope for all of us not to slip from one crisis into the next crisis. There's nothing special, there's nothing specific we can do, so let's move on with our agenda. That is our first update this year, 2022. We thank you for taking time, and thank you for being part of the ICMCI community. There's so much to tell and so different areas to address. We have a new board since October. Almost half of the board is new, and step by step we moved from the transition phase to the working phase. We have the new liaisons assigned, and things are going on, and things are the work is on track. What I see personally is that many institutes are very active. I cannot prove, I cannot judge, but I feel that the last years even have accelerated the number of activities. And I think that makes it even more important for us to share our experience and seek for synergies. And this meeting is actually to do so. So I would like to report on what our issues are on the table and what are we discussing in the board, and I would like to have some discussion and some experiences from your side, so we can have a very open discussion and sharing experience atmosphere. I would like to have a little bit structure in my report. I would like to split it into two sections. One is all about strategy and background, and the other one is daily business or operation. What you see on the screen is not a full picture of everything we do at ICMCI, but it's a sort of agenda I would like to go through with you together. I would like to address those discussions and open issues we had in the last months in the board, we will have in the near future. And of course, those things are related to each other, and you cannot split it. But as I said, it's sort of an agenda that I would like to go through it. Let me start with strategy. You all know our strategy, and as we have it in our email signature, the sentence "to be a leader in the development of management consulting as a global profession that drives social and economic success." I think that sentence is still valid. It is, I think, it's still a very good sentence. It brings it to the point. I don't know if we developed that sentence a couple of years ago, but there's, from my side, there is no fundamental strategic discussion. But what we need to do, and what we are doing in the board, is we evaluate that once a year, and we discuss about the tools how to implement this strategy. Therefore, we do have our strategy meetings. We usually have them face-to-face, but this year again, we decided not to have it face-to-face because yeah, the situation is much too uncertain, and we don't know when traveling will be as easy as it should be for all of the participants all over the world, because it might be easy to travel in certain areas, but we, especially in the new board, we actually cover really from Australia to Canada and everything in between. So as traveling is not as easy as we would like to have it easy, we decided to have a virtual meeting again. But this year we said we will focus on two main topics. One is a new initiative, or actually it's an umbrella of different initiatives, is what we call the future of consulting. And the other topic is marketing. And as I said, it's not yet discussed final. We have our meeting in the beginning of March, but I would like to share our current thoughts about it, and maybe you have some input on that. I'm sure you know the Future of Consulting initiative. I hope so. It is, as I said, not only one initiative, it's an umbrella of different initiatives, but what we want to address is what I would call the content part of our services. We offer, as ICMCI, we offer many services that are very much related to technical background, like designation, certification, assessment, standards. That is highly important. That is what our business is, and that is what we are doing. But in addition, I think we need to complement that with a little bit more content, background, thinking about the future, thinking about what do our clients need, what do the stakeholders expect from us. That is complementary to our technical services, and that is something we need to elaborate on and see how can we deliver that to us as our members, and also to our clients and to different stakeholders. There's one part that is, as I said, it's more content driven, and that is something where we think about, that is really the meaning of the future, because I have the experience when I get in touch with our member institutes, almost every single member institute is talking about what is our future, what is the future of our profession, and what is the future our members need to consider when they want to approach new markets or develop new services or develop their business. And so many things are discussed about that. The first step we did, we developed 5 streams that have impact on this discussion. Not that these streams are the solution for all the problems, but it's a little bit a structure of how to discuss the future of our profession. I just want to introduce very short and very brief these 5 streams. One is what we call the advanced technology. This stream obviously had impact for a couple of years. That's very much driven by digitalization. And we're talking about artificial intelligence, blockchain. Is there any effect on our services as management consulting, or how does it affect the business of our clients? And not all the people who are discussing that really have a deep understanding how artificial intelligence works and what can it provide, and what is it the solution for. So I think a basic understanding what these technologies could contribute to our profession is something that we need to discuss much deeper. It's not that all of us need to become an expert in digitalization. That's not the case for sure, but I think to understand what the impact of these new technologies would be, a better understanding will help. The second stream that has, in my understanding, a very strong input on our profession is the future of work, not only for our clients, for the clients too, of course, but also for us as a profession, as a firm that employs people. We are witnessing a massive change of way people, especially young people, but not exclusively, want to work. We need to change to provide new ways of working, which very often means to establish a culture of trust. These developments are accelerated by the war for talents, but it's just one perspective, but it's not the whole truth about everything. And certainly, as I said, we need to understand that better, not only for us, but also for our clients. The third stream is what we call skills of tomorrow. We already introduced the new competence framework. That's not a coincidence, of course, because skills and competences are changing. The market demand is changing for that. The environment is changing. But also it shows that we as an industry need to understand how the different changes in digitalization and by ethical approaches and so on affect our business and what do our clients expect from us. And that's why we introduced this competence framework, and that's why it will have effect to the implementation in our member institutes. The fourth stream is what we call the new business models. How do new business models evolve? What does it change in meaning of our clients, of our customers, in our market, but also what does the market expect from us? What does it mean? If I think back when I started in management consulting, the major outcome of a project was to print tons of paper. Nobody's asking for tons of printed paper anymore, and I think I wouldn't know any client that would pay me for that. So we are used to have different, to change the way how we deliver our services, and we are used, of course, that will affect business models from the perspective of management consultants, but it also has a big effect in the meaning of our clients. Our clients need to change, and sometimes management consultants are a little bit focusing on the message the clients need to change, but forget a little bit about the situation that management consulting industry has to change itself too. So that's the fourth stream, and the fifth stream is about professional standards. Professional standards is especially in very uncertain times, clients are seeking for certainty and seeking for quality and seeking how can we prove quality. And professional standards, as we developed as ICMCI, but we also are part of the development process with regards to the ISO standards. I think they are an excellent, not only a tool, but an excellent methodology to prove that we fulfill a certain standard of quality, and our clients can be sure that they will get the best services available. So sum up, I don't think our business will change in the basic structure. The basic structure, contracting, execution, and closure, that's the way we do our business. And I don't see any sign that that will change as dramatically that as our industry would disappear. But we need to discuss these based on these 5 different streams, and I think that's a good way to have a little bit more structure in our discussions. For the time being, that is not ready. As I mentioned, it is part of our board meeting in March. We will elaborate on that, but I want to inform you because I know that many institutes have these discussions, and I'm sure we can contribute to your activities and complement your activities with regards to these topics. As I said, Future of Consulting is not one initiative, it's more an umbrella, but that is the background or the fundament of our activities with regards to Future of Consulting. But I want to mention a little bit more about the concrete initiatives. Some of them are new, some of them not. Which is not a new activity is the National Consulting Index. but the National Consulting Index is part of this umbrella. And we will publish the next index in the International Consulting Day, and that is held in the beginning of June. Last year, we presented that Corona edition, as we called it. That was for 2020. It's always 1 year back. And it was a very special report because that report was not based on our methodology, how to calculate the index of management consulting per nation. Because on the one side, the figures we got, they were so different. The variance to the previous figures was so high because of the pandemic situation, and therefore it was not possible to calculate the National Consulting Index in the way we used to do it. And also our provider for some very important figures we are calculating in the index, they are changing their system so that they are not able to deliver the figures we wanted to have. Therefore, as you might remember, we approached you as our member institutes and asked you, how would you see, is the market changing? Is it growing? Is it declining? What is the changing in figures? And thanks a lot for those institutes who replied on that. It was very interesting. In general, if you see an overall figure, the market was growing, but the variance from country to country were huge, from minus 50% to plus 30% in different areas, in different countries. And I think that the figure by itself, it was quite interesting. And I think, as we don't have a ready strategy how to report the NCI in this year, we are having a meeting next week for that. But I think we might keep it to approach you as our member institute and ask you, what is your opinion? How would the market change? Will it grow? Will it decline? And in which range? The outcome itself, it's quite interesting. It's not a scientific figure that we can report, I know that, but in addition to the NCI, I think it would help. So please be prepared that we might send out a very short questionnaire about that in the near future, because we need it for the NCI to be presented in June. Yeah, that's about the National Consulting Index. The tool itself, it's still the same meaning. Use it to promote your industry in your country, to promote the industry in your area. And therefore, it's highly important that we have a consequent series of editions of reports every year, and not to sometime have the report and then next couple of years we don't have a report, and then we might have another report. It's really important, if we want to use it to promote the business, the management consulting industry, it's important to have a very consequent reportings on that. With that regards, I want to mention the academic fellows. The academic fellows by now have more than 80 members, and they are still growing. I think we might have a number which is more than 100 members by the end of the year, because we have the applications running. And that is really a huge source of knowledge all over the world. I think every member institute has at least one academic fellow named. We already have applications from countries where there is no member institute, but the academia wants to be part of our academic fellows. And they are writing a book now, which should be hopefully ready pretty soon, but I know that's always taking a long time. All of you, whoever have written a book, know that you never are in the scheduled dates, but well, it's about consulting skills, and I think all of you, or most of you, have written some little contributions to this book. And of course, the NCI as a core product, which is managed by the academic fellows, just to name two out of these services that are provided by the academic fellows. Another initiative that is under the umbrella of the future of consulting are our webinars. We had a webinar on Tuesday about the human-centric organization. And that was quite interesting because we were talking how many people register for the meeting and how many attend. And I think almost all of them who registered attended. We had about 80 people attending and 81 registrations, so something like that. So it was, yeah, that was very good. And it was a very good presentation, very interesting. And it's always a good base just to have an input from a certain perspective and discuss it from a certain perspective. It's not that we can provide the final solution for everything in these webinars, but these webinars are a very, very good input for understanding different approaches. And there is another initiative under the umbrella of the future consulting that is about young consultants, young leaders, we call it. The young leaders is addressing a new target group. SCMCI is usually addressing, because our members are addressing the more experienced guys, I would call it, which is in the nature of organizations that are working for industry, because experience is part of our work. But we shouldn't forget about the young professionals and the young consultants. And in the morning session, we had a very, I think it was Juan who is here again. He mentioned that we have so many young people who are joining this profession. And especially for the young people, the international connection is of very high value. And this is why I mentioned it, especially to you as our member institutes, because that is something you can provide to your members to benefit from, especially for new members. And even if you have a curriculum with regards to CMC, for example, it might be something, and we will think about how can we have this curriculum with a special lecture on international relationship, because that is something we as ICMCI can provide. We can provide our resources to have a lecture about international relationship, and that is something especially young consultants are seeking for, and it's really an additional benefit. We don't have a ready concept for that, but that is something I would like to discuss it in our meeting. So, and the young leaders, they have ongoing meetings, virtual meetings, all of them. They are managed by Gergana. I don't know if she's here, but I think I saw it. Yes, okay. On my screen, I'm sorry, I only see 2, 4, 6 persons. I don't see, because I see my presentation. So yeah, that's the young leaders. And yeah, I would like to go to the next topic. That's about marketing. Marketing is the second topic we want to discuss in our strategy meeting at the beginning of March. And from the very beginning, when I got the first time in touch with ICMCI, the discussion was about we need to do more marketing. Everybody said, if we don't do marketing, we will not succeed. But you know, to say we need more marketing is the first step, but you need to follow with lots of next steps to have a concrete strategy. For now, I think we have a very good basis set up with regards to our marketing activities. We are present in different social networks like LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter. We do have our newsletters, and everything is set up to go for the next level. And that is what I call a campaign planning. digital marketing is set up in campaigns. And a campaign is something that is very well defined. It has a clear goal what to communicate. It has a clear target group. It has a clear budget for different resources in terms of money and other resources. It has a very clear definition, which media do we use for which message. And what I would like to achieve, and we already have a campaign planned for this year, is to have a common understanding with all member institutes. What are the campaigns we want to deliver? Because then we could go for what I would say the next level. We could link it to between the ICMCI activities and the member institute activities. So, for example, if we are promoting the International Consultants Day, then we could have a landing page for different member institutes. And if we spend money to promote it, to have it on the first page at Google, why wouldn't it be possible to have our member institutes to benefit from that and to have that as a campaign to win new members or talk with existing members, whatever. Now, saying that, I know it's quite easy to say that, but I know it is something we need to learn how to do that, because we don't have experience in that. We all know how digital marketing is working, but we as ICMCI in this international setting, we have a little experience how to do and how to seek synergies, to find synergies, and to achieve this next level of marketing campaigns. And that is, I think, the basis for that is the campaign planning. That's what I say is a little bit about the strategy and what's the background. As I said, it is not everything is ready yet, but that is the things that we are discussing. And I just wanted to let you know as soon as possible what are the things that we are discussing, because most of the things that I'm telling now should have some impact on you as a member institute. And I know it takes time to synchronize it, and that's why I'm telling you things that are not ready yet, but that are on the table to discuss. Let's move on to the daily business. Daily business is, and I want to emphasize again, what you see on the screen is not everything we do. What you see on the screen is what we are discussing and what is not the regular business. There are so many things happening in the management of ICMCI by Rima and Kusama, and that's not on this list, but doesn't mean that it's not happening. We just want to make sure that everybody understands it in that way. There is something that is, making especially Rima quite happy. And yeah, actually all of us, that's the banking situation. I'm sure you got the mails that we are changing our banking institute because they canceled the services, ABN AMRO. They said, well, you are a Swiss organization, internationally active, but you don't have any relations to the Netherlands, except we have a member institute in the Netherlands. And so they said, with regards to money laundering and many other things in the finance industry, we don't want you as a client anymore. And so we said, okay, let's move over to a Swiss bank because we are Swiss based and we are a Swiss verein. And they said, well, it's quite interesting, but you are too small and we don't make enough money and it's much too complicated and in this specific situation. And we asked, so what could it make easier for you? And then we learned that making it easier means that we need to be registered in the commercial register, although we are not a commercial entity, but we are registered in the commercial register in Zurich now. For an international organization with acting people all over the world, that's quite complex, sending some applications, forms around the globe, going to the notary and whatever. For all of us, that was quite strange. But finally we achieved, and we are registered now in the commercial register. And we assigned a bank compliance officer, that's Rogero Hüsler. Some of you might know him. He is Swiss because the Swiss banks want to have a Swiss guy to talk to. That's, yeah, okay. So we give them a Swiss guy they can talk to, and now things are looking quite good that we are on a good track to move to this new post-finance bank. It's still not done yet. The timeline is very, very tough, but let's hope the best. I already mentioned the new competence framework, and the expert for the competence framework is Celal. Celal, you are on the right side, right beside me on my screen, and that's not a coincidence. I think that's because you are the person who is in charge of the competence framework. And I know that PSC and QAC, they are setting up a plan to inform the member institutes how to properly implement the changes of the competence framework. And maybe you have time a little bit later to talk about what are the concrete plannings. It might help, and to share your thoughts about that with with our auditorium. I just want to mention that we have two major things that changed in the competence framework. One is what I would call the digital fitness. I mentioned already with regards to the future of consulting, but digital fitness is not only to be able to work with Excel and Word. In these times, it's also necessary to be able to work with Zoom, but there's a little bit more. It's a better understanding of artificial intelligence, blockchain, platform economy, whatever. I don't think it's possible to deliver consulting services without having this knowledge. That doesn't mean that everybody needs to be an expert in everything. But if you are discussing with your clients about new business cases, you need to raise your hand and say, well, we need a GDPR compliance with our new business case. And maybe it's not so easy for us to have GDPR compliance, or maybe we can replace the whole business by a blockchain based approach or whatever. And as I said, we don't want to be an expert in everything, but I think as every consultant needs to understand what is profit and loss, and what is HR, and what is resource management. I think every consultant needs to have a certain level of digital fitness. And the second part where the big changes took place, or not big changes, but where additional definitions took place, is all about ethical behavior and all about sustainability. I'm sure all of you have experience in how the market is requesting for sustainable approaches and for ethical behavior. And if a consultant replies, well, I don't take care about sustainability and I don't need it, that might be his personal decision. But I don't think it would be very professional. And we need to distinguish what is a professional way and what is a personal decision. Of course, everybody of us has different values, but to be able to handle that in a professional manner, that is what these definitions in the new competence framework are about. I'm very proud to have this new competence framework because it really is a very strong tool. And as I said, we do actually, with regards to quality assurance, all we do is based 90% on the competence framework. I also want to address some vacancies in committees. Basically, I think we do have all our committees do have a very good standing in terms of their members, but some of them might need some additional resources. And as we sent out a couple of weeks ago, we asked for nominations for different committees. There's a little bit, there are still some vacancies in the membership and in the finance committee and in the GI assessors. So if you have any thoughts about, if you have idea about somebody who might contribute to that, please think about, because it helps especially these committees to do their work, and the basic work in ICMCI is done in the committees. If we don't have the committees working properly, yeah, that's a major, it's not even a pile, it's actually the fundament. I want, and we have another top expert here in this session. I want to mention the Konstantinos kickoff that was sent out a couple of days ago, I think last week. I saw Alfred on the list, and yes, you said something, so I hope you're still here. And maybe you can add to what I'm saying. I'll keep it very short. The Konstantinos is, I know there are some, for everything that is new, some people say, well, that is new, we don't need it, and it's so different from culture to culture. But every year, every single year, every award ceremony, I understand that the member institutes, but also the consultants and the clients, not only the winners, but all of them are so happy because they see how important the Konstantinos International Award is. It shows to the world, it shows to our community, to our stakeholders, what consulting means, what management consulting means, how is it delivered, how is it working. And it gives a very good understanding about concrete use cases or concrete business cases. And this is why it's so important for us as an industry. And I really want to invite all of you to think about sending nominations for ambassadors for the Konstantinos International. We do have 20 ambassadors by now, but some member institutes are still missing, and maybe we can win a couple of more member institutes. The ambassadors are so important to be the first contact point between between the members, the consultants, and to understand what is not written on the homepage. Everything is written on the homepage, but you cannot write everything in a homepage. People don't read everything and don't understand it in the same way. And the ambassador is so important to have a personal relation between the consultants and the Konstantinos, the system of Konstantinos. And I always want to mention, it is not only about winning the Konstantinos International. The Konstantinos International, the more applications you get as a member institute, the better, because you can use them as a promotion of different use cases, and explain not only with regards in the Konstantinos award ceremony, but far behind that, different use cases, how management consulting business is working. That brings me to the next thing I want to address, that is about event planning. Well, the next big event will be the International Consultants Day. That is always held in June, the first Thursday of June. This year, that's the 2nd. So June 2nd, Thursday, June 2nd. It will be held as a virtual event, and the title will be something like, it's not final yet, but it will go in this direction. It's going in the direction accelerating restart. And what can the management consulting industry contribute to this restart? I think that is what our clients, that is what our member institutes are asking for. How can we show, in the special situation we are in now, how management consulting can contribute? And as we say in our strategy, beside many other things, but to the society. And that is what is a main value of management consulting, and that is what we want to address in the International Consultants Day. And of course, we will present the National Consulting Index in this National Consultants Day. It will be held virtual, so everybody can attend, and please promote the date. It's really important that it's not a closed shop event within the 20 ICMCI volunteers. It should be for the whole world, and the more participants we have, the better. The next date I would like to mention is the annual meeting and conference and the Constantinus Award that will be done in October. Please reserve October 12th and 13th. For the delegates, it will be the annual meeting and the conference, and the award ceremony, of course, is open for everybody. It will be held as a hybrid event. We actually do not know if how traveling will be. We don't know how traveling will be. Will it easy or not easy, and is it affordable for everybody? So therefore, we decided to have a hybrid event. But anyway, the experience out of the last couple of years when we had virtual events was that we had far more participants when we have a virtual event. And I think it's better to have as many participants as possible than to have a face-to-face event. So let's hope the best, and let's try to have a hybrid event. We don't know what will be happening in October. Everybody's telling summer might be good, but as soon as we move over to October, everything will become better and worse. And I want to mention the HUBS meetings. HUBS meetings, we have a time frame for the HUBS meetings in April and May. So, well, April is coming quite quick. I know for the Asia Pacific hub that they are very concrete in their plannings, and in the morning session, Lydia was attending, and she was very happy to announce that Australia will host the hub meeting for the AP hub meeting. And I think meanwhile they already have a date, but I'm not 100% sure. That might be one of the mails that dropped in a couple of hours ago. The American want to organize it a little bit different. They want to keep an ongoing conversation on, and I'm not sure if there will be really a hub meeting. And for the African area, I think it might be the best as we as ICMCI are organizing that. The situation in Africa is not very, well, it's challenging, not only for the consulting industry, but also for most of the institutes. And in Europe, we are assigning a new chair. So as soon as we have that person assigned, we will announce the hub meeting. Yeah, that's about the event planning. So I want to move over very quick to the two different ISOs. One is about the ISO 20700. We do have another virtual training, and the trainer, I think that's the first time it's a premiere. It will be CELI. Yes, okay. It's a self-declaration checklist training for trainers. So yes. It is not for the consultants, it's for the trainers. And that is on March the 17th.
17th.
Yeah,
yes.
we do have some registrations, a few registrations now, but yeah, take a chance, use this to get trained in the self-declaration checklist. And the other one, we have a new 17024 authorization. It's Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan achieved this 17024 authorization. That makes me very proud. And it's so important that we have the more member institutes we have that are authorized to 17 or 24, the better. Okay, that's very quick, very brief. That is it from my side. As I said, it's not everything we are doing in ICMCI, but I want to give you a picture of what are the most important things and what is on the table to be discussed. Maybe I can hand over either first to Celal and then to Alfred, or the other way around, however you would like to complement with regards to the competence framework and the Konstantinos. Celal,
okay, Robert.
Yes.
Thank you, Robert. Just a couple of points, not to take too much time of everybody. For the new competence framework, we have decided in principle that we will work together with QAC, and on the PSC side, Professional Standards Committee side, we will allocate 1 or 2 members of the committee to be dedicated to support to institutions, IMCs, if they need help to implement the new competency framework. That member or two members, 1 or 2 members of the committee will help them. On the QAC side, QAC will train the assessors to be in line or alignment with the implementation. So that in principle, we have decided that, and we will finalize the name of the persons and the time plan, etc., in the March meeting, also with some inputs from the strategy meeting of the board. So that is the situation in principle, in general. And for ISO 20700, as you said, there will be a trainer training on the 17th of March. We are looking forward to that. In addition to this, we will also have a review session with the trainers and exchange inputs and revise the material and update the material and continue in the new period with the new content.
Thank you. Good to hear. Alfred, is there anything you want to complement with regards to Konstantinos International?
Yeah, maybe I have some thoughts. First of all, thank you for the detailed insight into the activities. I think because in this framework, many things to do, you know, and I checked it now, many things to do, in fact. We should empower the IMCs to publicize the CMC and therefore the qualification. So just some topics. I didn't see the CMC in this framework. Second, we should talk about strengthening the continents. For example, what I said, ICMCI Europe, ICMCI Asia, ICMCI United States, whatever. We should talk about this. Third, I would like to talk about how to become the voice of consulting world. So we have a lot of.
You're cut off. I'm sorry. Hello, Alfred.
You told us now, but can you hear me?
I didn't get the last sentence, but maybe.
The last sentence. We should talk about how to become the voice of consulting worldwide. And there should be a process rolling out to all countries, for example, all the 50 countries, how to spread out this voice of II. So it's really a main point for ICMCI. Third, how we strengthen the strong feature. I would like ambassador, and if you have already sent an ambassador, then please strengthening them to be. We do a lot of things to show from step 1 to the last step. We will explain all the necessities so that you can submit successfully, because this is one of the main goals, how to submit successfully. I don't like to speak about all the things now, but it's very important that we get from every country an ambassador, and that the ambassadors take a position in our committee and be always part of the committee meetings. By the way, many thanks to Rima. She did a lot of work, and some work was not really motivating. But by the end of the day, if we are on stage next Konstantinos, you get your clap hands from everybody, Rima. So many thanks that you did a lot of things now. And you never lose your good mind for the Konstantinos. Last thing, an invitation to everybody of you. The 20th anniversary of celebration of the Konstantinos in Austria, 20 already. It's on 2nd of June, which means it's the same date where we have our consultancy day. So maybe we can put together an international cross-section in Vienna and to have a big party on the one hand for the old the other for the consultancy day worldwide. That's all from my side.
Thank you. I have to say, you are cut off from time to time. I don't think it's on my side, but I think we all understood the message. Okay. Any other comments?
May I say something, Robert?
Sure.
Because part of what Alfred said, and I'd like to address some of it. The CMC is part of the new competence framework. And once that is finalized as means of implementation, then we believe this would end up being a very good push to how the CMC is perceived, because now the framework itself contains more, it addresses more, and is better aligned with many of the things that weren't actually part of it in the past. So the CMC is somehow mentioned, but one important matter, and it's the fact that even though this is what the strategy might look like, the board is going to have its strategy meeting next month in March. And that's when we actually put together all the answers to some of the questions that you talked of. I'm going to copy what you already included in the chat, and I will make sure we take that to our strategy meeting. Thank you.
Okay. I go through the chat if there is anything to report, but that is okay. Any other comments? Any other thoughts? Whatever.
Maybe I just want to say one word. Let's focus on things and not focus too many things which we're not able to work by the end.
Sure. Fine. If there's nothing more to share, nothing more to discuss.
How was the afternoon compared to the morning?
Yeah, we had a little bit more participants in the afternoon. And
I was at both of them, and they're both excellent.
yes.
Thing that always strikes me, not so much with this, but with having been on the board of IMC since 2013 or 14, is that we tend to talk a lot, and I mean globally, about the what, but not necessarily enough about the how. And I think that's where we sometimes miss. In fact, I had thought of putting a little video together on this.
Yes.
That's my perspective, not a criticism of anyone. If you're a thriving consultant, you're busy, and you know, the IMCs, the ICMI are all important. But when it comes to business, you have to attend to your business. Otherwise, you're not putting bread on your table.
Yeah. Yes, correct.
That's my perspective anyway.
Okay, fine. So thank you for your input. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for being part of this presentation. I wish you, I don't know what, good evening, good day, good whatever.
Good sleep.
Good sleep for, no, there's nobody here to go to sleep, but some of you are starting the
For
working
now,
day.
afterwards.
Yes, okay. Most of you are starting the working day, so no sleep. Okay.
Thanks, Robert. I love the mind map, by the way. Great, great idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
mind
you
maps
very
are
much.
always great.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.